I am Dr. V. Jayashree, presenting the webinar based on ICTIEE 2016 paper. The paper ID is 286. Title of the webinar is Outcome-Based Module for Placement of Undergraduate Program Students. My co-authors are Mrs. A.D. Kadge, Professor Dr. S.A. Patil, Mr. G.S. Joshi from Textile and Engineering Institute, Ijjalkaranji. First of all, I would like to thank on behalf of my co-authors and institute for having given us the opportunity to present this webinar on the paper that was presented in ICTIEE to all the organizers. With the evolution of science and technology and engineering, issue on quality of education often arises. Qualitative analysis of education has become a critical issue. So, quality has become the buzzword in engineering institute. A day is not far off when survival of engineering institutes will be based on the quality of education and employability of graduates. Coming to the motivation of this webinar, it is as below. The scenario of engineering education in India is changing through NBA process, due to which engineering education has to shift its focus from output-based education to outcome-based education. Also, the purpose of monitoring the outcome-based education is to achieve the attributes in a graduate student as required by many quality assurance guidelines such as ABET and NBA in India. Maintaining the right quality in education is essential for the overall growth of the human race to sustain. Hence, it can be said that quality is very essential and also mandatory. The expectation of outcome-based education can be tested in two different levels. One is at teaching and learning level, another one is at employment level. So, the purpose of this paper was to develop and to test a model for understanding application of levels of Bloom's taxonomy and also to determine its impact on students' learning process. Accordingly, this webinar discusses on the impact analysis of outcome-based education module designed and implemented for improving the employability of the graduate students. The outline of our webinar consists of the following points. The first one is introduction, followed by literature review and objectives, the theoretical background on Bloom's taxonomy, steps in OBE module development, implementation of OBE module. The sixth one is the results and discussions based on pre and post test training conducted in the three areas, namely aptitude test, technical test and mock interview test. Based on the paper that was presented at ICTIEE, we have extended our work for conducting the impact analysis based on our OBE module, and accordingly we are going to present the points from A to E, consisting of redesign of major project assessment module, extra technical skill improvement through industrial trainings, similarity of technical round questions, results of placement record details right from 2011-12 to 16, and students' participation in innovative activities and events because of the impact of the training. Last point consisting of the success story of our OBE module, which has focused us to motivate the changes in curriculum in Board of Studies of the university. Our webinar will be concluding with conclusions and future scope at the end. Quality is important and it is not a choice, but it is mandatory. So quality can be assessed in education through qualitative analysis only. That is why there is a paradigm shift in the engineering institutes from output to outcome based education and also from quantity to quality based education. At the same time, if we look at the various engineering colleges which are coming under private sector, they are in tier 2 as per NBA recommendation, and accordingly we see that the admission quality of the students in such institutes is average. But this admission quality cannot be an excuse for compromise of the quality. There is requirement of change of methodology of teaching and learning process in order to improve the quality. So in order to achieve this, in this OBE module, we have used a quality assessment tool, that is Bloom's taxonomy, as a reference tool for assessment and analysis. To conduct the case study on this, we have done the literature survey, and based on this we can say like this: scientists and technologists and engineers of all ages, students as well as senior professionals, encounter professional challenges in their professional and personal lives. There are variety of teaching learning methods that can help to achieve our core outcomes, but these challenges can be answered from brainstorming sessions and intense discussions. Also, majority of the people are aware that Bloom's taxonomy domains help us to ensure that students take responsibility for their own learning. When students engage in the construction of knowledge, an element of uncertainty is introduced in the instructional process, and the outcomes are not always predictable. The teacher's main instructional task is to create activities or environments that allow them opportunities to engage in different levels of thinking. And also, SAR of June 2015, it emphasizes on enhancing the skills of students through various teaching learning processes for outcome-based education. So based on the motivation and the requirement and literature review, we have aimed to improve the employability of the undergraduate students by conducting a case study. Accordingly, the objectives set were to develop and test a model for understanding application of different levels of taxonomy and also to determine its impact on learning process. Now coming to the tool that we have used, that is Bloom's taxonomy. Bloom's taxonomy, it supports outcome-based education and can classify thinking levels of human being, and also it helps in measuring students' quality. The skills are from the most basic level to higher order levels of thinking. The Bloom's taxonomy provides a way to organize these thinking levels into 6 levels as shown in the figure. As per the diagram, we see that this Bloom's taxonomy, it assesses the teachers as well as the students for their thinking, and also for acts as a base for setting the questions at different levels. The levels of questions can be helpful in deciding the 2 main categories of thinking levels of the students, namely lower order thinking level and higher order thinking level. Lower order thinking levels are those which are attributed to remembering, understanding, and lower level of application levels of Bloom's taxonomy, consisting of the remembering, understanding, and applying. And also higher level levels of Bloom's taxonomy are those requiring complex applications, analysis, evaluation, or creation of skills. The questions which can be set based on the 2 main categories of the Bloom's taxonomy, it helps in different way. First is that the usefulness of lower level questions are to evaluate the student for his or her preparation and comprehension, and it helps in diagnosing the strengths and weaknesses of the student, and also the ability of the student can be to summarize and review the contents can be understood. And also the usefulness of higher level questions help in understanding the critical level thinking of the students, problem solving ability, encouragement taken by the students for discussions, and also it helps us to understand the students' ability to seek information on their own. Keeping all this in view and taking the tool that is Bloom's taxonomy as the base, we have developed the module in using the structure of OBE for placement as shown in this slide. Now, in this, while developing the OBE module, we have emphasized on overall development of the student with student ability level as input and choosing the number of tests based on the company's requirement. The number of tests selected were pre-test and post-training test. Also, the types of tests were chosen in line with the company's requirement, namely aptitude test, technical test, and mock interview test. Lastly, the major issue is concerned with assessment methods. We have gone for selection of the assessment methods which are already mentioned in the NBSR, and those are direct assessment method and indirect assessment method. In this, using the steps developed in the module of OBE, we have implemented the OBE module, and the figure, it is been shown that the final year students were focused for placement activity, and these students were filtered based on the cutoff of the company's need. Then based on the students, we have done the pre-test analysis to find the gray areas of their fields by conducting aptitude, technical, and mock interviews. And we have analyzed, based on the analysis, we identified their gray areas and gave the training. Also, at the end of the training, we again conducted the post-test where we did the impact analysis in the fields of aptitude, technical, and mock interview. Now here I will be presenting the results and discussions which are based on the pre and the post test, consisting of both aptitude, technical, and mock interview tests. Coming to the aptitude test, we have set the strategy for setting the question papers. For both pre and post test, the question paper pattern consisted of 30 questions each with a time allotted of 30 minutes, and the marks allotted were 30 marks. The focus was on to test the speed, accuracy, analytical discrimination, and logical reasoning of the students in this aptitude test. Now, in this graph, we have shown results of the aptitude pre and post test. From the filtering of the final year students, we got 36 students selected based on the criteria of company, and the x-axis of this graph shows the students number right from 1 to 36, and the two bars, namely in yellow color and brown color, indicate the results of individual student in pre and post test. It has been observed that out of 36 students, as many as 19 students showed improvement in aptitude marks, and 8 have retained the marks equal to the earlier marks, whereas 9 have scored lesser than even the earlier marks. This can be attributed to the difficult level of questions that has been set in the post test. The next test, the test which was conducted, is the technical test. Again, the same set of 36 students were chosen, and the pre-test and the post-test were conducted by setting the question papers, as many as 60 questions at different levels of Bloom's taxonomy based on knowledge, understanding, apply, analysis, and apply analysis. In a knowledge level, as many as 20 questions were asked, then 14, 18, 3, and 5 respectively questions were set in understanding level, apply level, analysis and apply analysis level. Now it can be concluded from this pre-test that the students are good at knowledge level and at understanding level, whereas at apply and analysis level, the students are having the medium level. But when we look at the combination of apply and analysis level questions, their performance was found to be very poor. It means that we need to give more attention to training of such areas where they are lacking the knowledge. Now on the right side, the post-test results are displayed, and this indicates that here we have conducted the similar kind of test using the questions through project based on the various levels of Bloom's taxonomy, and we have seen that in the post-analysis improvement is observed on the basics of technical subjects and also their application fields. While forming the questions, the need analysis was taken from the students and they were trained by the various faculty members in the respective areas, and the post-test was, pre-test and post-test was conducted and the impact analysis was carried out. The third test which we have ventured is the test similar to that of the company, that is mock interview test. Now this test consisted of the requirement in line with the companies again, that is consisting of communication skills, body language, resume writing, leadership and project and knowledge. And this was assessed using the indirect method consisting of the grades such as good, average, needs improvement, poor and worse, having been graded with the grades like A, B, C, D, E respectively. For this, the faculty has done the contribution for conducting the mock interview test similar to that of the test conducted by the various companies. The results and discussions corresponding to this mock interview has been shown in tables corresponding to pre-test and the post-test. So if you look at the pre-test, we see along the first row the grades and the parameters that we have taken into consideration, and the grades are A, B, C, D, and the parameters are communication, body language, resume, leadership, project and technical interview. Now if you see in the pre-test, we see that the score of the students in grade A is very less. That means they are lacking in all the aspects of the requirement of the company, and hence they need to be nurtured in order to bring them back to grade A. If you look at the post-test table, there is drastic and that has been observed, but from observing the students from grade C to grade B, even some of the students who are falling under grade B, grade D have been upgraded to grade C. And also we can say from this that the students have been benefited from soft skill trainings, and also there is satisfactory result achieved in the project aspect, and ours being a college present in rural areas where the students lack no doubt in communication skills, also they are poor in resume writing, but such interviews and such trainings have been benefited them in improvement of the resume writing notably. Now coming to the seventh point, which is the impact analysis of the OBE module after the paper presentation at ICTI EE 16, and based on this the various impact analysis in various fields have been conducted, and on this our co-author Mrs. A.D. Kadge will be presenting. I am handing over the session to now A.D. Kadge.
Thank you, ma'am. As madam has discussed about the design and implementation of our OBE module, after the presentation of the paper we have gone for how much impactfully that OBE module has worked out on the different aspects, such as the redesigning of the module for getting the major project to be assessed. After that, implementing the industrial training and their importance to give the extra skills to the students, which is the today's need by the companies also. Similarity of the technical round questions were also assessed from the students who have appeared for the different technical interview sessions of the interviewers. Then we have gone for doing the placement record detailing, and for that we have assessed our 5 years data including this year, and then we have seen the changes of in the students by implementation of this OBU module in terms of their participation in innovative activities and the events. So one by one in detail, I am going to now discuss what are the impacts on these all aspects. So first of all, we will discuss regarding the design of module for the major project assessment. So when the major project assessment comes into picture, for that we have taken the reference of our MBA SAR, which has been given in June 2015. In this SAR only they have mentioned that we have to consider majorly the project categories based on research, application, product and review. And so we have to get our projects to be classified in these categories, and regarding to that, in our students we have to create awareness to take and choose the topics which are falling under these such categories, because they are going to get the help for getting their improvement of the skills when they will get their categories to be classified under this part. And these such category projects we have evaluated by using the different criteria such as project type, then the environmental concern which has been considered under that project topic, safety concern, ethics, etc. But while doing the implementation of such project evaluation, to understand at what level we are working or what improvements we have to do in that implementation, and within the stipulated time span, how to get the completion of that part, we asked our student to maintain the project progress diary, and accordingly when they have worked out, we have found out that the timely completion of the quality projects have seen over this module implementation. And at the same time, when the quality projects have been evolved out from this exercise, the college as well as our faculty members have appreciated the efforts and the success of the students, and institute has made the facility that it has published their success on the websites. So these are the samples based on the project evaluation sheet what we have followed, as well as the category analysis that we have done. In this case, when we have assessed for the year 14-15 and 15-16, we found that we are having totally 8 count of projects under product category, 12 under application category, and 5 under review category. But overall, when we have gone for the societal aspect to be considered, we found 10 projects were taking the consideration for the societal application. The next part always asked by the company person during the interviews is that what extra skills the student has imbibed when he has gone through the technical contents that elaborated in the syllabus itself. And for implementing that, we have given the industrial trainings, and we have imparted the importance of these industrial trainings by conducting the trainings in MSP 430, which is a advanced microcontroller. Then the antenna designing aspect, Itinium training, which is focusing on the communication network aspect, and similarly RTTC training, that is Regional Telecom Training Center training, which is focusing on communication concepts itself. Similarly, we have concentrated on PLC SCADA, which is focused on automation practicals. When we done the analysis of conducting of these trainings, we found that the trainings in antenna design, Itinium and RTTC have helped the students and given the confidence to the student to answer the questions of the companies like TCS, Global Edge, IBM and Elcom Marine. And similarly, when the MSP 430 and PLC SCADA, which is automation company, that automation trainings helps the student to answer for the companies like Sintel, Global Edge and IBM. After conduction of such a trainings and after conduction of the mock interview sessions, when we asked our students and collected the information regarding the questions asked during the technical sessions of our interviewers, we found that 80% similarity was there in the actual questions asked by the companies during the technical interview sessions with respect to the questions asked during our mock interview sessions. And regarding to that, for the TCS and Capgemini company, we have done our survey for comparing the questions which were asked during the TIs and during our mock interview sessions. Surprisingly, after getting these all implementation and exercises that has done, we found that in year 11 and 12, there was a boom of getting the placements to be done. Because of that, in that year we were having 59% of placement. But after that, as the recession period was on, and similarly the quality of students was not up to the mark, that means at least the minimum criteria of the requirements by the company. Because of that, in these years we were facing the problem of getting the percentage of placement to be lowered at 36% and 32% respectively. But after this, we analyzed ourselves and we decided to take some action regarding this, and we thought upon this module to be implemented. And when we started with, initially that result was improved up to 41%, but after getting the complete implementation of these 5 aspects, we have found our improvement in the placement in this current year, which has reached up to 54% up till now only. And that is what we can say in short, that totally 13% improvement as compared to the initial fact of 41% in the previous year we have achieved by implementation of this module. So when we are analyzing this, the percentage placement improvement was not the issue. But by seeing this graph, we can check on that not only the percentage improvement in the placement, but the number of students which are available for getting the placement to be done, that is the eligible criteria, successfully keeping students were also increased, and at the same time the placement percentage is also has been increased, that we can see out from these graphs and these comparisons. Only this placement and their capability increment was not the issue, but when this successful implementation was done, our students were motivated to participate in different activities and different innovative competitions also. So one of the examples that has been presented over here, wherein the group which has undertaken the project entitled as Solar Powered Online Transmission Line Monitoring Using the Wireless Embedded System has won totally 8 prizes at the different competition at different levels. At the same time, the innovative ideas were developed by the students, and they were motivated to undertake the different initiatives taken by the government of India, such as Make in India and the innovative product development itself. Only this motivation was not stopping out here, but as like the SAR has suggested, the different type of learning methodology, that is collaborative learning, was also initiated by our final year students, wherein they have taken one-day workshop on MSP 430 microcontroller for our third year students, and they have successfully imparted the introduction and the implementation of that designing concept of the MSP 430 microcontroller IC for the third year student. And they were also motivated to get participated into the IUCEE speed activities, wherein one of our final year student has acted as a coordinator and facilitator for taking the workshop throughout the Maharashtra region. Now I will hand over this session to my co-author, Mrs. Jayashree ma'am.
Thank you, madam. And the last topic to be discussed is the exploration of the success story of outcome-based education that is done through the, for the improvement of the employability of our students. That is, this success story has been carried to the university level for suggesting the modifications in the curriculum of the electronics and telecommunication. So accordingly, we made them to motivate the students for critical thinking and also for improving the practical approach. In this aspect, we have asked the Board of Studies to introduce mini project implementations right from the second year onwards. So this is essential because our being the college that is affiliated to Shivaji University, we cannot change our curriculum as and when we require. But the curriculum change occurs only after 4 years. But the success story of this outcome-based module has motivated us to approach and also tell the success story to implement such kind of things in our syllabus. So accordingly, we had earlier the mini project present implementations only in the third year and final year, whereas it was also extended further to the second year level. And secondly, we have given the suggestions on relevant changes in syllabus of various subjects. And thirdly, we have suggested for introducing the compulsory implant trainings at third year level. And this is also an activity which is not there in the curriculum of the Shivaji University earlier. And based on our experience and the outcome of this employability OBE module, the BOS studies has agreed to incorporate all these points in the syllabus, and accordingly they have made the changes. Coming to the last point, that is conclusion of our webinar on OBE module for employability of UG level students. We have seen that the placement and employability is a crucial issue, and the exercise that we have done has helped us to understand applications of OBE module for improving placements of UG students. Here we have focused on impact analysis technique for checking the employability of UG students. The ability of the students was assessed by designing different test modules based on Bloom's taxonomy in line with company's requirement, and subsequently conducting and assessing the module outcomes based on direct and indirect assessment methods. In pre-test, we have adopted direct and indirect assessment, but it indicated that the knowledge and the understanding level of the students was fair, and also at applied analysis level they were very poor. So based on the gray area of the students' ability, we set the training for enhancing the weak areas. Also, we conducted the post-test of after the training, and we saw that there was a drastic improvement in the performance of the students in the applied and analysis level also. So we can say here that OBE-based placement module has justified its importance in enhancing the ability level of students for quality assessment. During our paper presentation, we had worked up to this level, and we had given the 2 future scopes of this paper, and accordingly the future scope was to check the effect of implemented module for improvement in employability, and second one was to explore and design and test such similar modules on various engineering subjects. But out of the 2, we have worked upon the first future scope after the presentation of our paper at Pune, and it is on the employability impact analysis. And as we have seen through the discussion done by our Madam A.D. Kadge, we see that the OBE module for students' employment has shown an improvement as much as 13% in placement compared to the previous year of 2014 and 15. To sum up all this, there was a religious participation and dedication of the students for OBE activity consisting of technical and soft skill improvement trainings conducted in line with company's requirements, and it has resulted in improving the employability of students. This is quite evident from the improvement in placements. The future scope of this would be to further explore, design and test such similar modules on various engineering subjects. These are our various references, and now we are coming to the end of our webinar. If any questions are there from audience, we welcome that. Along with us, Dr. S.A. Patil, who is HOD of Electronics Telecommunication, and our TPO, Mr. G.S. Joshi, and our lab assistant, Guru Madam, are also present, who are assisting. If there are any questions, I would like to please hear that. Okay. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. We'll definitely send the slides to the persons who has requested. The growth of students for the placement, as we have observed, that it is 13% with respect to the previous year, that is year 2014-15, and with respect to the 12-13 and 13-14, there is as much as 21 to 23% improvement. 21 to 23% improvement with respect to the year 2013-14 and 12-13. Any other questions, please? And this has been seen from our analysis of the OBE module, which is real-time outcome for the employability. Any other questions, please? Sir, we see here the figure corresponding to the Bloom's taxonomy, which helps us to organize thinking skills into 6 levels. Basically, this Bloom's taxonomy supports outcome-based education, and it is a classification of thinking organized by levels of complexity of thinking. It gives the teacher and the students an opportunity to learn and practice a range of thinking and provides a simple structure for many different kinds of questions and thinking. As per this diagram, we see here that Bloom's taxonomy provides a way to organize thinking skills into 6 levels, and these skills are shown from the most basic level to the higher order levels of thinking. And we can categorize these 6 levels of Bloom's taxonomy corresponding to remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating into 2 categories. One consisting of the thinking levels at the lower level, contributed by remembering, understanding, and applying, and the higher order thinking levels of the human can be analyzed using the analyzing level, evaluating level, and creating level of the human being. And also, just now I said that this Bloom's taxonomy acts as a support for many different kinds of question paper setting, and it can be categorized. They can be categorized majorly under 2 levels, that is lower level questions and higher level questions. So in lower level questions, we can go for judging the evaluation ability of the student for preparation and comprehension. And secondly, we can go for judging the diagnosing ability corresponding to the strengths and weakness of the students. And thirdly, we can also go for understanding the ability of the student for reviewing and summarizing various contents by using the question answering by the students under low level questions. Similarly, if we set the higher order questions, then in that case we will be able to test the critical thinking level of a student, problem solving ability of the student, and also how much the student is capable of encouraging discussions can be judged. Lastly, the ability of the student to summarize can be understood. So this is what the Bloom's taxonomy helps us.
What is importance of every assessments?
So outcome-based education, it can be studied at 2 levels. One is at teaching learning level, and second one is at employability level. And as on today, the institute, there is mushrooming of the engineering institutes, and quality education is under question. In the near future, there will be a day during which the colleges which can perform very well as far as academic quality is concerned and employability of students is concerned very well can sustain for a long time. Otherwise, there is no possibility of the institutes sustaining in a good manner. So, to assist such kind of learning levels and to impart the skills required by the current multinational companies, this outcome-based education helps us in improving the employability of the students through various modules that we have exercised for our webinar on our final year students. I think we are clear about it. Yeah. Yes, definitely we would like to track this further also, and we would like to continue with such activity in for the next year students. And also, as we have said, we have initiated through the success story of this OBE module implemented. There are changes that have been already incorporated in the syllabus of curriculum of Shivaji University, which was otherwise never under our control. This is a big achievement, what we can say, because of which we are able to inculcate the skills in the students for mini projects right from the second year levels, and this will also help the students to make the student compatible with the last 6 skills as mentioned by the graduate attributes, such as soft skills consisting of ethics, societal service, lifelong learning, and then working in groups, etc.
Even we are planning to implement this particular activity entirely This exercise will be implemented even for those who are having or working on a mini projects, as well as those who are undergoing the implant training also, because that is also suggested to the university to make it compulsory for the students. So naturally there will be an impact of this. So the pre-training knowledge as well as the post-training knowledge, that will be also tested in the further exercises. This is what we are planning.
Hello, we are planning because we are motivating the students for encouraging this participation. Okay, you can talk to them.
Sir, one of our co-author, G.S. Joshi, who is training and placement officer, would like to answer some of the questions, and he would like to tell some of the aspects of this training and placement.
Yes, madam.
We are motivating project because we are motivating the students for the project, and we see that the students will present, they will participate in company contest. That is the more important thing, because nowadays the companies are shortlisting the institute based on that, and which we are looking for that, and that is our strategy in the next 1 or 2 years, so that maximum students will take the part in the competition. That is what we are trying. And this is extending to other departments also. That is our main aim, or that is the next aim what we are doing is.
Any other questions, sir? From any participants would like to ask the question? If no questions, I would like to conclude. Any other questions? No further questions. Okay. Thank you, sir. I would like to now conclude our webinar. First of all, I thank all the participants, especially Sridhar Noori, for having given us the opportunity and made the arrangements for us to give the webinar. And my sincere thanks are due for the organizing committee of ICTIEE, who has helped us to come to the global level, and we are happy about this, that our presentation is being listened by the people who are residing in various countries. And I would like to thank the institute, our head of the department, Principal Dr. P.V. Kadole sir, and all my co-authors for having supported us, and also for having participated very enthusiastically in the presentation of this webinar. Thank you. Thank you once again. We will be looking for such opportunities further in future. Thank you, sir.